Welcome to part 14 of building a dynamic community website using PHP and MySQL. And in this part we're going to, in part 12 we displayed member list temporarily for viewing, and there it is on the home page right there. See it? And so what we're going to do now is set a table in here to show the 4 newest members, or maybe 6 would fit in there. Maybe 5. We'll do the 5 newest members that joined the site. So if you were to join the site today or whenever, you would be in that list right when you join. When you go to the home page, you would see yourself there. So that's what we'll show you how to do. And let's go ahead and open Dreamweaver CS4 and let's close that out. And here we are in our root directory of the source files of our website, and we're going to open index. So let's go to open index. So we open the index page, and here in the index page we have the query. I'm going to shoot that bird, I swear to God. Jesus. Okay, so we put in the mechanisms or the script to show all those members. We just listed out all the members just for an example. And so we're going to change this script up just a little bit to make it display just the 4 or 5 newest members that we want that joined our database. So we'll keep this connect. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm just going to rewrite this script really quick, and it's really easy. So let's get that space out of there. And connect the database will remain. And all we're going to do is change up this select query. So we'll select ID, their ID, and the member's first name and their last name too. And I think that's all I need to give a display and a link to their profile. So from my members, and you can select all of them like that, but what we'll do here is make sure they're activated in the database like we did in the activation script, where email activated underscore activated equals 1 in single quotes there, equals 1. And then we're going to make sure we order this query, or the result set that comes from the query. All the results that come from this query are going to be ordered by the ID field, member ID field, descending. That way it shows all of the newest members to oldest. If you put ASC, ascending, it would show oldest members to newest. But we're going to do it descending, and we're going to limit this query to 4. That way we don't run a huge power hogging query on our database when we only want 4 or 5 people. Let's change this to 5. Make that limit 5. And that's what the new query is going to look like. Okay, so we don't need to get the number of rows. We can get rid of that. And don't need this. Get rid of that. We need the while. And yep, that line is correct. So this will run a while loop over the result set, those 5 newest members. And then you can loop the data display, or you can display the data within the loop, and I'll show you that right now. So let me just see, we're going to use that mechanism to show the pick. We'll make the picks maybe 80, and we want to get ID still, first name and last name. It's all great. This is all pretty much set up the way we need it, almost. So what I'm going to do now, since I want a certain type of display within a certain type of container, I'm going to go into my HTML section here, into the design view, or you can hard code it in the code view. And I'm going to do something that makes the CSS guys mad. Right here I'm going to put a table, And you can easily use divs for your containers. And don't yell at me for using tables. Just go ahead and do it the right way by using divs, okay? So here we go. Columns 4. No, 5. 1 row. 100%. Perfect. Okay. Actually, no, we won't make it any percent. Okay. And then we'll center it. So we have that table centered now. Down in the align properties. And we can go into the code view. Okay, so now we have a table sitting there that we can use for our display. And this is how you can dynamically render a table with the result sets in it. Let's make right under the SQL array, or the SQL query, we're going to put let's see, member display. I'm not sure if that's what I had. Member display list. We'll just name it that same thing. Member display list equals, and that'll just kind of initialize the variable. That's a way of initializing a variable. And or you can set it as a string or number variable, but we're just going to initialize it like that. So member display list is going to be the top set of that little table we added in. So let's add this table and the table row tag. So we can X that out of there. We're going to come back to it in a second, and we're going to pop it right in here. Actually, let's use single quotes for this. One single quote, another single quote, and in between them, pop that table in right there. The table beginning tag and the first table row tag. Now we're going to take this member display, press C when you highlight all of it, and let's go down to outside the while loop right here and add a dot to compound the variable. So this will allow for this to be displayed in a variable, then all the table columns from the while loop's result display, and then we close off the table. So we're going to need the closing tag and the table row. Control X. So we have the table closing table row tag and the closing table tag, and let's pop that in where it needs to go here. Okay. Now all we need is one of these TDs. Take one of these TD sets, Control X, get rid of all those other ones, we don't need it. And right here, member display list equals, put that right there in the TD. Actually, it's already set up nice. What we got to do is wrap the TD around it. So let's just pop it right there. Get rid of that NSBP because that's just a space. Control X. Put that first one right here. And then the closing table column tag can go right at the end. Now we can simply get rid of the break tag here before the table row or table column closes. Get rid of that. We have a link to the member's profile already set using their ID from the database. That's what we want for each guy. So for each person in the database, right here, this table column, they each get a table column printed to the table. And you can see outside of the loop is where we start the table tags and the table row, and we close the table row and the table tag after the while loop closes. So only thing that's inside the while loop that would render out many times are the table columns. I'm going to make a column for each person in the display list here, which there will be 5. So that's pretty much what I've done there. And let's make sure we have a break after the user pick. So let's put a BR tag right there by pressing, I think it's Control Shift. No, it's Shift Enter. Shift Enter automatically in Dreamweaver will put a break tag for you. Now let's see, we have the picture. Break tag under the picture will be their name. Let's see if this works. So all we have to do is take the member display list here and print it out in the HTML section. So you can take this member display list variable, that naming, and we're going to print it out here where we had that table. So let's go put opening tag, question mark, PHP, some spaces, close off the PHP tag, and in the center we can put member display list. Oh, before we do that, let's type in print or echo the member display list in between double quotes. That should work. Now that should put a table, a dynamic table on our home page with pictures of our members that are 80 pixels, and the name will be under it. The name will be a link to see that person's profile. And this mechanism is for showing the newest 5 members to join your site at all times. And it's always dynamic and up to date. You don't have to touch it. So let's go ahead and reconnect here. Let's put up the index page. Let's see if we have any error in our code. Let's see, let's go to refresh. And there we have it. That's beautiful. Now what you could do is make this table width, or give it a spacing, a cell padding. Grab that cell padding from that table there and just pop it in the dynamic table up here. Any attributes you want and values. Go to index here, and this will put a little space between everybody. And these source files will be available. So you see how easy that is. And if you wanted to make sure, if somebody puts maybe a tall picture in, and you don't want it to, you want all the names to be in a straight line there, you would just put him in a div. Let me show you how to do that real quick. Each TD gets a div inside of it. So you can say, let's just put it down here, so in the HTML anywhere, so we can set up the div easy. We get the code hints. Div style, go down to where it says style, go to down to where it says width, height, not width, height, 100 px, semicolon, and close the div tag. Now we can grab that and just get it out of there. Control X, and we're going to use it up in our dynamics section here. So right here inside the TD we put a div, start the div, and right after the pick we can put the closing div tag right where that BR is. I just should put a slash div, and that will close it up. Now let's see what that does. That should give us a different rendering for that person with the tall picture. It's hopefully, might have messed it up, but we'll see. Yep, that's not right. Let's grab that div again. I mean, this isn't very necessary, but some of you guys might want to line everything up right, even if your members' pictures are wacky. So let's say height 100 pixels, when it should have been 80, right? 80. And let's make the overflow hidden. That might help. Overflow hidden. Put a semicolon. And now Oh, what am I doing? We gotta get that up where it belongs. It belongs up here in the dynamic query section, or the dynamic while loop. And that's the user pick inside of the div, and that's all that's in there. That's what we want. Let's FTP that index page back up after we press Control S to save it in Dreamweaver. And let's take a look. There we have it. So you can see you can successfully make everything line up right. You can even center the names in there by putting centered div tags or just regular center tags. So these files will be updated to show part 14 here, and the source package will have the additions that I've placed into the home page. And you can see that the big list is still coming out of our footer. So let's go to File, Open, Footer, Footer Template. Let's get rid of that member display list there. We don't need it. Let's put that back up. Okay, so I'll update the package, and you guys can get at what we've done here, or you can just straight code it by watching the video. It's pretty easy what I did. So let's go ahead and refresh that, make sure it's gone from the footer. Yes, it is. It's right where we want it. Click that person, and there it goes. It's beautiful. Okay. And in the next lesson, part 15, and we only have a few parts left. In part 15, we're going to show you how to build a member page, the member display page, an official member display page, and maybe a search mechanism in there so you can search through, or they can pick what type of members they want to see and things like that. But we'll definitely make an official member display page, and then one application to show you how to let your users interact, your members interact with one another. In some form, we'll make some kind of application that lets your members interact with one another like a social network should. Okay, we'll see you in part 15.